The sun bled orange over the Maui horizon, and I was sipping a watered-down Mai Tai, thinking this was it, our dream vacation. 10 years of marriage, 2 kids, and a mortgage that could choke a horse, and here we were, finally at a resort with sand so white it looked AI-generated. Her laughter floated from the cabana, sharp like broken glass. I should have known it wasn't for me. I'm a numbers guy, crunching budgets for a mid-tier AI startup. Not glamorous, but it pays for the minivan and her TikTok-famous smoothie bowls. She'd been distant lately, blaming my late nights coding for some AI chatbot that's supposed to revolutionize customer service. Yeah, right. I thought this trip would fix us, stitch up the fraying edges. Screw it, I'd even splurged on a private villa, hoping she'd look at me like she used to. But that laugh. It wasn't the one I knew, the one that crinkled her eyes when we met at a dive bar in '09. This was calculated, like she was auditioning for a role. I set my drink down, the ice clinking like a warning, and wandered toward the cabana. The air smelled of sunscreen and betrayal. Her voice was low, conspiratorial, not the bubbly tone she used with me. "He's clueless," she said. My gut twisted. I ducked behind a palm tree, heart pounding like a bad EDM track. She was on her phone, her silhouette framed by fairy lights. "Yeah, the account's set," she whispered. "He won't notice till it's done." Who was she talking to? Some guy, his voice muffled but smug. My phone buzzed, a work email about a budget glitch. Weird timing. I ignored it, ears locked on her. "Just keep the transfers quiet," she said. Transfers? Was she cheating, or was this bigger? My mind spun. Our savings had been tight, but she'd insisted on this trip, saying we deserved it. Now I wondered if I was funding her escape plan. A couple strolled by, their giggles mocking my paranoia. Should I storm in, demand answers? Or play dumb and watch her unravel? The villa's fan hummed that night, but I couldn't sleep. Her phone lay on the nightstand, glowing like a taunt. I'd never snooped before, pride, maybe, but my fingers itched. What kind of man checks his wife's phone? One who's already lost her, I guess. I grabbed it. Passcode unchanged. Her texts were a minefield, cryptic messages about offshore accounts and clean ledgers. No names, just initials. JP. Who the heck was JP? I stared at her sleeping, her face soft like the girl I married. Could I forgive her if it was just a fling? But money? That hit deeper, like she'd sold our life for a quick buck. The fan's hum grew louder, or maybe it was my pulse. Tomorrow, I'd tail her. Dig deeper. If she was playing me, I'd find out. But what if the truth cost me everything? Her perfume lingered like a ghost as she slipped out for yoga at dawn. Yoga, my foot. I wasn't born yesterday. The resort's breakfast buffet was a spread of tropical fruit and overpriced coffee, but my appetite was shot. Her phone was locked now, new passcode. That stung more than the sunburn I was nursing. I sat by the pool, pretending to scroll through work emails. Another budget glitch report, our company's AI was flagging irregular withdrawals. Odd, but I pushed it aside. My eyes were on her, weaving through palm trees toward the beach. She moved like she owned the place, all confidence and secrets. I followed, keeping my distance, blending with tourists snapping TikTok reels. The sand was warm, gritty under my flip-flops, sticking to my sweat. She met him at a tiki bar, tucked behind a wall of bamboo. He was lean, tanned, with a smile that screamed, "I sell crypto for a living." JP, I bet. They leaned close, her hand brushing his. My chest tightened, like someone cranked a vice. Was this just a fling, or was she laundering our savings through this sleaze? I caught a snippet, the next transfer's tomorrow. My blood ran cold. I ducked behind a surfboard rental shack, the ocean's roar drowning my thoughts. Why was she doing this? We weren't rich, but we weren't broke. Or were we? She'd been handling our finances lately, said I was too wired from work. Had she been skimming for months? Years? I thought of our kids, oblivious back home with my mom. What kind of mother risks their future? I needed proof. Her laptop was back at the villa, probably a goldmine. But breaking in felt like crossing a line. Once you know, you can't unknow. My phone buzzed again, another work email. The AI flagged a $10,000 transfer from our department to an offshore account. My name was on it. What the heck? I hadn't authorized that. Was she framing me? The thought hit like a rogue wave. I pictured her laughing with JP, toasting to their scam while I took the fall. My pride screamed to confront her, make her squirm. But my gut said wait, play the long game. If she was screwing me over, I'd need more than a hunch to bury her. I trailed them to a beachside cafe, her laughter cutting through the steel drum music. She glanced my way, and I froze, heart pounding like a jackhammer. Did she see me? Her eyes lingered, then slid away. I exhaled, tasting salt in the air. Tonight, I'd crack her laptop. If she was hiding a fortune, or a frame job, I'd find it. But what if the truth was worse than I imagined? The villa's air was thick with jasmine and lies. Her laptop sat on the desk, sleek and smug, like it knew it was my only shot. She was out, grabbing cocktails, with some resort wives. Sure. I poured a whiskey, the glass cold and slick in my hand, and stared at the screen. Password. I tried our anniversary, BZZZT. Kids' names, nada. My pride was taking a beating, but screw it. I typed her old college nickname. Bingo. Her desktop was a mess of folders, recipes, vacation pics, work stuff. Too neat for her chaos. I dug into work stuff, expecting boutique invoices. She ran a small online shop for artisanal crap. Instead, I found spreadsheets. Rows of numbers, dates, accounts I didn't recognize. My company's name popped up. Transfers. Thousands. My pulse thumped like a bad club remix. One file, labeled JP, had a memo, final transfer post-vacation. Clear the shell by Q3. Shell? Like a shell company? My head spun. Was she funneling money through my firm? The whiskey burned my throat as I scrolled. An email draft to JP, he's distracted. Won't suspect till it's done. My name was in there, tied to a consulting fee I never saw. The room felt smaller, the fans hum a taunt. Was I her patsy? I pictured her with JP, laughing over mojitos while I coded my life away. My phone buzzed, another work alert. The AI flagged a new transfer, $15,000, linked to my login. I hadn't touched it. She was setting me up to crash and burn. I slammed the laptop shut, the click loud as a gunshot. Confront her? She'd spin a story, cry, make me the jerk. No, I needed more. I grabbed her phone charger, same brand as mine, easy mix-up. Maybe I'd borrow her phone later, catch her texting JP. The ocean roared outside, mocking my calm. She came back, all smiles, smelling of coconut and gin. Miss me? She chirped. I forced a grin, my heart a clenched fist. Always. Her eyes flicked to the laptop, then away. Did she know I'd snooped? I played dumb, sipping my drink, but my mind was a storm. If she was scamming me, was it just money? Or was there a darker secret buried in those files? I lay awake, her breathing soft beside me. The villa's shadows danced like ghosts of our marriage. Tomorrow, I'd follow JP, see what he was hiding. If they were in this together, I'd unravel it. But what if she wasn't just betraying me, what if she was destroying me? The morning sun scorched my eyes, but I was already wired. JP was my target now, a walking answer to this mess. She was at a spa day, probably plotting with him over cucumber water. I spotted him at the resort's gym, all smug in designer shorts, bench pressing like he was auditioning for a TikTok thirst trap. The air reeked of sweat and bleach, stinging my nose. I lingered by the treadmills, scrolling my phone like a bored dad. He was chatting with a trainer, voice low, mentioning offshore deals and clean accounts. My ears perked up. Same lingo as her spreadsheets. Was JP her partner in crime, or just a pawn? I needed his phone, his emails, something. Pride screamed to punch his smug face, but that'd get me nowhere. He left for the juice bar, and I trailed him, keeping my cap low. The resort was a maze of happy couples and screaming kids, a cruel backdrop to my unraveling life. JP met a guy in a linen shirt, older, with a shark's grin. They swapped a USB drive. My gut sank. This wasn't just a fling, it was a network. I snapped a photo, shaky but clear. The older guy said, "She's handling the husband?" JP nodded. "He's too busy with his AI crap to notice." My blood boiled. They were laughing at me, betting I'd stay clueless. I ducked behind a palm, sand crunching underfoot, and checked my work app. Another transfer flagged, $20,000, my name again. I was being framed, and she was the artist. Could I forgive her if she came clean? Doubtful. Betrayal's one thing, screwing my career's another. I thought of our kids, their trust funds may be already drained. What kind of woman does that? I tailed JP to the beach, where he lounged with a laptop. Risky, but I crept closer, hiding behind a cabana. His screen showed a bank site, Cayman Islands. Big numbers. My phone buzzed, a text from her, "Dinner at 7? Miss you." The nerve. I almost laughed, bitter and raw. Reply and play nice? Or ghost her and dig deeper? I typed, "Sure, babe," hating every letter. JP packed up, heading to a yacht dock nearby. A yacht? This was bigger than I thought. I stood frozen, waves crashing like my thoughts. If I followed him, I might blow my cover. But if I didn't, I'd lose the trail. Was she just a thief, or was there a darker secret tying her to JP and that shark-faced guy? I needed to know, even if it broke me. The yacht gleamed under the midday sun, a floating middle finger to my crumbling life. JP boarded it like he owned the ocean, and I watched from the dock, blending with tourists snapping selfies. The air smelled of salt and diesel, thick enough to choke on. My phone buzzed, another work email, urgent. Audit scheduled. Irregularities tied to your account. My stomach dropped. She was burying me. I couldn't just stand there, stewing in my own sweat. I rented a kayak, playing the clueless husband on a whim. Paddling out, I kept the yacht in sight, its name, Second Chance, mocking me. Was that her plan? A second chance with JP, funded by our savings? My arms burned, but rage kept me moving. JP was on deck with the shark-faced guy, both hunched over a tablet. I drifted closer, waves slapping the kayak like a warning. "She's locked him out of the main account," JP said. "He's screwed." Sharkface laughed, a sound like gravel in a blender. My grip tightened on the paddle. They were talking about me, plotting while I played detective in a rented boat. I snapped more photos, my hands shaking. The yacht's engine roared, and I paddled back, heart pounding like a war drum. Back on shore, I checked her texts again. Her phone was with me, borrowed during her spa day. A new message from JP, "Move the rest tonight. He's distracted." My name wasn't mentioned, but I felt the knife. Was she just greedy, Or was this personal? I thought of our fights, her calling me checked out, me snapping about her endless TikTok scrolling. Maybe I'd pushed her to this. Or maybe she'd always been a stranger. The sand stuck to my damp skin, gritty as my thoughts. Could I confront her now, demand the truth? Or would that tip her off? I returned to the villa, her laptop still open. A new file, exit plan. My breath caught. It listed dates, accounts, and a name, mine, flagged for termination. Not just money. My job, my reputation, all targeted. She wasn't just cheating, she was erasing me. I poured another whiskey, the glass slick with my sweat. Tonight's dinner loomed like a trap. She'd smile, play the doting wife, while JP moved our money. I could play along, fish for clues. Or I could tail JP again, catch him mid-transfer. Either way, the truth was closing in, sharp as a reef. But what if her plan wasn't just about money, what if it was revenge? Dinner was a performance, her smile as polished as the resort silverware. The restaurant glowed with candlelight, the clink of glasses like a countdown. She wore a dress that screamed money, our money, probably, and chatted about snorkeling, oblivious to my clenched jaw. The steak tasted like ash, the ocean's hum outside a dull roar in my ears. I played the part, nodding, laughing, but my mind was on her laptop's exit plan. Termination. Was it just my job, or something uglier? I sipped my wine, watching her eyes flicker to her phone. Expecting a text from JP? I'd left her phone in the villa, swapped with mine. Amateur move, but it bought me time. "You okay, babe?" she asked, voice sweet as poison. "You seem wired." I shrugged, muttering about work stress. Truth was, I was unraveling. Another email hit my inbox, audit escalated. "Your signature on all transfers." My signature? Forged. She'd planned this for months, maybe years. My pride screamed to call her out, watch her squirm. But I needed more. She excused herself to the restroom, leaving her purse. Risky, but I grabbed her keycard, same as mine, easy mix-up. I'd check her phone later, maybe catch JP's next move. The waiter passed, his tray clattering, and I caught a whiff of her perfume on the breeze. It used to mean home, now it was a warning. I thought of our kids, their faces in my wallet photo, faded from years of handling. Would they hate me if I exposed her? Could I forgive her for them? The questions gnawed like sand in a cut. She returned, all smiles, and suggested a moonlit walk. Perfect cover for her to slip away, I bet. I agreed, my gut churning. We strolled the beach, waves crashing like my doubts. She stopped, staring at the water, and said, "This trip's been perfect, hasn't it?" I nearly laughed. Perfect for her scam, maybe. My phone buzzed, her phone, in my pocket. A text from JP, funds moved. Meet at the yacht, midnight. My blood ran cold. Midnight. I could follow her, catch them red-handed. Or I could hack her email, find the paper trail. Either way, I was closing in. But what if this wasn't just about money? The yacht, the shark-faced guy, the forged signatures, there was a bigger shadow behind her. Was she a pawn in their game, or the queen? I needed to know, even if it shattered me. The moon hung low, a bruised silver coin over the black ocean. We walked back to the villa, her hand in mine, clammy as a lie. My pocket burned with her phone, JP's text, meet at the yacht, midnight, searing my brain. She hummed a tune, carefree, like she wasn't dismantling my life. The sand was cool now, gritty under my toes, mocking my unraveling calm. Inside, she kicked off her heels and grabbed a wineglass. "Nightcap?" she asked, eyes glinting. I nodded, playing the fool, but my heart was a jackhammer. I had an hour till midnight. Her laptop was still on the desk, a sleeping beast. I needed her email, the final piece. But if she caught me, the game was up. She sipped her wine, scrolling TikTok, laughing at some AI-filtered cat video. I almost envied her ease. Almost. I excused myself to check work, grabbing her keycard from her purse. Her phone buzzed again. JP, Shark's on board. Bring the drive. Shark? The older guy. A drive? My gut twisted. This was no fling, it was a heist. I opened her laptop, her password still her college nickname. Sloppy. Her email was a goldmine, threads with JP, coded phrases like, clear the ledger, and, cut the anchor. One email mentioned my company's AI project, the one I'd slaved over. His code's the key, JP wrote. My code? They were stealing my work, not just money. My phone buzzed, another audit alert, fraud confirmed. Your termination pending. Termination. Her exit plan wasn't just a job, it was my whole life. I pictured her with JP, toasting my downfall on that yacht. Could I forgive her for the kid's sake? Or was revenge sweeter? The wineglass in my hand trembled, its rim catching the light like a blade. She yawned, stretching like a cat. I'm beat. You coming to bed? I mumbled something, my mind on the yacht. I could tail her, catch them mid-handoff. Or stay, dig deeper into her emails. Either way, the truth was a reef I'd crash on. Her perfume lingered, a ghost of who she was. I slipped her phone back into her purse, keeping the keycard. Midnight was close. I'd follow her, see this through. But what if she wasn't just stealing from me? What if she'd sold my soul to someone bigger than JP? The ocean's roar outside was a warning, but I was too far gone to stop. Midnight's air was heavy, salt and secrets clinging to my skin. She slipped out, whispering about a moonlit stroll, but I knew better. I tailed her, keeping to the shadows, the yacht's lights a beacon in the dark. My heart pounded, a drumbeat of rage and dread. The sand muffled my steps, cool and slick underfoot. She reached the dock, her silhouette sharp against the water's glint. JP was there, with shark face, their voices low. I crouched behind a crate, the wood rough against my palms, catching fragments. The drive's clean, she said. His code's embedded. My code? My AI project, the one meant to save my job, was their ticket to millions. I snapped a photo, the flash off, my hands steady despite the storm inside. Sharkface handed her a bag, cash, maybe. You're free now, he said. Free? From me? Our kids? My chest burned. She'd sold my work, framed me for fraud, all for a payout. I thought of her laughter, once my anchor, now a blade. Could I forgive her for our family? No. Pride wouldn't let me. I stepped forward, ready to end it, but froze. JP glanced my way, eyes narrowing. I ducked, pulse racing, the ocean's roar swallowing my breath. They boarded the yacht, its engine growling to life. I had seconds. Confront her now, or let her sail away. I chose neither. I ran to the villa, her laptop still open. I forwarded her emails, every thread with JP, every coded deal, to my boss, the auditors, even the feds. My fingers shook, but my aim was true. If she thought I'd crumble, she'd learn otherwise. The screen glowed, a cold witness to my revenge. Dawn broke as I packed my bag, the villa quiet, her perfume fading. My phone buzzed, a text from her, "Where are you?" I didn't reply. The audit would hit soon, her accounts would freeze. JP and Sharkface would turn on her. She'd built her cage, and I'd locked the door. I left the resort, the sun rising like a bruise. Our kids deserved better, and I'd fight for them. Was I the fool for trusting her, or the victor for outplaying her? The plane's hum was my answer, steady and final. I'd lost my wife, but found my spine. What would you do if your dream vacation became a nightmare?